Alright, welcome back. Today, let's throw some backsplash on this. We got them painted, we got new countertops, we got the whole kit and boodle. All we have left is some backsplash. So I'm gonna do subway tile. We're gonna be using the longer one. These are 12-inch ones, not the standard 3x6, but it's 3x12. Same process for basically any subway tile. So let me show you what you need. Alright, so what we'll have here, we have this deck tile, 3x12. Okay, so we'll have our subway tile. There's that, the bread and butter. They make corner pieces, so we'll say here whenever I'm going out here and I don't want to go, to make the edges look smooth, they make little corners. They have corner squares that you can put up top, and then to make it all flush. I decided to go a little different. I'm just going to use these little quarter round pieces, and I'm just throwing these up here. And then I'm going to caulk on the edge anyway over on this side. So that's what I'm using. I'll be putting them right there, up here, around this other side, and on this side. Well, let's see. Other things you need, of course, besides your tile. It's got a little trowel here, and with Backsplash, the wall, you can just use a tile adhesive. This usually helps it stick and not slide. So we'll go bottom up. Since I'm going to go ahead and start over here, I'm going to go ahead and get on my wet saw and cut some pieces because, as you can tell, it's going to be too tall. Alright. One more thing you'll need, of course. So I use a wet saw to cut these. Got a couple of them cut. Let's get started. Or you can use just any tile. Use this as ceramic, which is pretty easy to cut. Pretty smooth cuts. I kind of have these little spacers that I will put underneath them just to give it a little gap for me to caulk down there, for any expansion, contraction that happens. You don't have to do that. You can just lay it on here as long as you check and make sure it's level. But I use this little spacer. Also, typically with this, it's about a 1/8 inch usually, so we have a bunch of spacers in here. 1/8 inch spacing between them. And we will just come on. If you don't know how to back butter, that's basically it. This is what you do whenever you're hitting fine or smaller areas, right? Give them a little wiggle to let them grip in there. And like I said, I use these little something just to give it a little bit of oomph to it. So now I'm going to measure out how deep I have here. I think it's about 8 inches. 8 1/8 to this. Add 1/8 because of the spacing, or subtract 1/8. So it tells me it's about an 8-inch cut right here, all the way up. I'll do that on the other side, and then we'll be able to free flow here. So next, I'm just going to I have a line drawn where I want to go with this. I'm just going to put these up here. Just so I can go ahead and have my little border here.
I'm just going down this line I drew.
Beautiful. Check, make sure everything's looking level. And then everything else here, whenever you stack these on, it's going to be half and half. So they're going to be offset. And what I do around outlets is I'm just going to measure where the holes are. And then I get on my wet saw and I cut down those holes. That way the tile can just fit right there. The outlet can fit on top of it. It's flush, it's smooth, no gaps. So we'll measure where the holes are out from the tile. I'll cut down a little bit on my wet saw, just like that. And back into dry fit, hopefully right on the money. See the holes? That's how they line up. And please save yourself and get in the comment section telling me how I'm an idiot with my with how I'm handling the electrical situation, okay? If I get a few volts through me, then I'll probably learn my lesson. Alright, so now you can see we're rocking and rolling. I just put this piece here because I can just put that center of those and I can move this way since I have these things to cut out. You know, once we get over to this area, it'll be pretty quick. The most time consuming part's going to be cutting around the outlets, you know. This area back here, that's going to go in a jiff. So we're rocking and rolling now. That's all there is to it. Just slap some of this down on the wall or back butter it, run it, cut it like I showed you with these little slits, measure, get close, put them in there. And then I'm doing this little side piece right now. That way I can build that up and we can just finish this out. And helpful advice here. So whenever I'm running this, it's going to make it easier in the long run, but I had to cut this completely off because there's nothing else up top here. So this is only 9 inches long instead of my 12-inch long piece. So you can't just come over here and start a whole new piece because that's going to send this off level. It's not going to look, you know, as professional. So you're going to have to measure. You know, what I did is I just measured 6 inches from here, marked, cut a piece that will fit right in there. And then I'm going to have to cut another piece going all the way over here. So it gets a little tedious around the light switches, but make sure you take time, do it right, make it professional to where they're offsetting every other one instead of just running a full piece right here and making them all janky. Thumbs up. Let's put it on.
Wasn't that just something interesting?
Seven 3/8 plus 2 grout lines. Or minus 2 grout lines, 7 3/8, 7 and a 1/8. Let's go cut. Both same length, dry fit them both, and that is why I like doing it in the middle. Because now all cuts on each side should be the same, making it easy and quick. Like a glove. Same there as well. Alright, so now we get to where we have cuts. So I'm going to go make all these cuts. Cut, cut. Measure this, cut, cut. You know the routine. Again, whenever you cut on this side, make sure you measure it and it matches up to this one. So not a full piece, just on the bottom row here. And we'll keep rolling. To get this cut by the outlet. Make sure this is nice and level. It's going to be pretty close. Draw a little line. Take it from the outlet over. See what we have. 7.5. That's what our cut will be, to match it to that. Done. So we'll let it sit up, come back, grout it tomorrow. See you then. So we let it dry, took all the spacers out. So now grout, last step here basically. You just need a few things. Your grout, I'm using unsanded because these are all 1/8 inch. And so it'll cover it. You only want to do non-sanded for up to 1/8 inch of a grout line. And then also the unsanded will lessen, or there's no risk of me scratching the glossy surface of the backsplash. So that's the big reason why I do unsanded instead of sanded. Need a sponge for cleanup, grout float, buckets. These are overkill for just how little I'm doing, but oh well. That's all I have. Then you get to little areas like this, where your grout float is not going to fit. Really, right? You can really get in there. So, two options, or probably unlimited options. They make smaller grout floats that will fit in there that you can push the grout in with, or you can use these hands that God blessed you with, and that's what I'm going to do. So let's get rolling. Let's mix this up and get going. I'm going to start back here, just get this annoying part done. We got our bucket of water down on the floor here, and we have the grout here. So it's going to set up. You want it to be, the consistency that you want. Now I'm going to go all white trash here. I'll just take a paper towel and wipe these parts off. Sponge, wring it out well. Now a couple things is, there's a myth that you need to put this grout on and then wait 15 minutes and go over with the sponge. That's a bunch of crap. I put it on and I go back over with the sponge. I'll do a couple of square foot sections and go right back over it. So in a matter of a couple minutes, I go back over it with the sponge. That helps really limit it's drying onto the tile also. Second, don't worry about the bottoms down here or my edges over here. We're gonna caulk. We're gonna caulk where a vertical surface hits a horizontal surface and vice versa, and the edges. So don't worry about getting grout underneath here on your countertops. Just get it on the grout lines where the tile is. You just want some pressure, push it on, load it across. And I usually work it back and forth a couple directions to really get it in there. That also goes for, I'm not going to worry about getting grout jammed into these corners here. Again, that's where caulk goes. You really don't want your grout in those corners. Now, sponge and go back over it. And I just swipe. And when I swipe, I kind of turn it as I go. Just like so. Nice little rhyme too. thick there. Last step will be caulking, so we'll be hitting any seams and down low here. I'll hit these seams, and where these show around the sink, I'll hit those. So you can get the grout caulk if you want. I just use a bathroom and kitchen one, high gloss white, because I got this white back here, so it should flow pretty good. Already hit the bottom here. Easiest way is if you have a glove. We'll drop this down, and then you can literally just take this glove and just pick it right up, put the excess on a paper towel. And then just take glove, one finger, go down about a foot. Where it hits the grout line, you can carry it up to get rid of the excess. And just keep coming down. Working about a foot section. Voila! So I'm going to empty out this bucket, get some fresh water in there, and I'll just go back over the sponge, over everything one more time. Make sure the haze is off, make sure it's all pretty. Change out these ugly light sockets, and brand new kitchen, baby!